はい、ミリです。シャーロック・ホームズチャプター1。タイトル忘れたよね、一瞬で。はい、今回から、何だったっけ、捧げられた子羊。このストーリーに入ってきます。モーゲンからの招待状、ホームズ君へ。グランドサライ地区北部、コルドネ修道院の向かいのターコにあるカートマンチョスの邸宅で、君を待っている。すぐに来てくれたまえ。都合が悪くても来てほしい。君の友人、ボーゲル。通信、不必要な面倒ごとに巻き込まれないよう適切な衣装を送っておいた。ぜひ来てくれたまえ。ということで、こんな格好になりました。怪しいなぁ。秘密結社だよね、これ。よし、それでは、やりますか。レッツラゴー。ちょっと、で、どこ行きゃいいんだ？あ、じゃん。
Look, the cutest thing you'll see all day. Hamlet staged by children.
ハムレットなんだ。
Oh, so it has taken root.
What's taken root? As I recall, when we were growing up, this theatre didn't welcome kids.
You've forgotten, John. Come to the back entrance and I'll refresh your memory.
裏口？どういうこと？これはまたこれで、どういうこと？小さなハムレットになるよ。どういうこと？これは見れないんだ。ここ入れないの？裏口ってどこ？
こんにちは。
裏口。はい、こんにちは。いらっしゃい。ぐちこさんいらっしゃい。怖いやつ私、見れなかったから後でアーカイブ見るね。裏口ってどこよ？
みんなやっほー。
あ、マー君いらっしゃい。やっほー。
共有しておきました。
ありがとうございます。裏
マー君
口ってどこ？
こんにちは。
Yeah, I still see nothing.
You need to focus, my dear friend. Watch me.
あ、小さなハムレットになっちゃったな。ちょっと待ってよ。ジョンは演劇について何一つ覚えてない。集中すればレガシー劇場の裏で僕らが行ったことを思い出させることができるだろう。レガシー劇場なの？ちょっと待って、これは何？なんか場所が違う気がするんだけど、気のせい？これ修道院の向かい。コドナ修道院。コドナ修道院だよな。マンチョステ。ターコにあるカートマンチョスの邸宅。あ、やっぱ違うじゃん、私、場所。ここだ。 ここですわ。違うとこやろうとしてた。この格好でうろつかないかんのか。この格好であんまりうろちょろしたくないな。恥ずかしい。違うミッションやるとこあった。ここだな。よいしょ。謎に包まれた貴族。入っちゃっていいのかな。
Welcome, sir. I do hope you enjoy yourself.
あ、じゃん。ちょっと話できないじゃん。なんで？
Enjoy the evening, sir. There is still plenty of time before the grand finale.
All right.
何これ SM クラブだよね、なんか
モント。
そうだよね、コスモスのモン
What
ト
if
だよ
I
ね。
write an article about these people here? Can you help me gather information about Cordona's
情
elite?
報集め。ジョンの頼みでコルドナの上流階級たちを暴露することができる情報を探すことになった。おう。
Could you help me?
Don't take it personally, sir. But I know nothing about this.
一回解除して、
I guarantee we'll have a good time.
Good time。ジョン、そんなとこ乗っちゃいけませ
One
ん。
basis from here will be enough to get me tipsy. I hope.
You have such pretty hands. What can you do with them? Do you know what was here before Manchiosa's family bought it?
邸宅に隠された不気味な過去を突き止める。先祖伝来の家。ダメなんだ。遺跡。オカルト。一個はオカルト。
Do you know what was here?
覚えられんね顔な。遺跡違う。両替は違うでしょ。魔法陣ぐるぐる。魔法陣オカルト魔法陣。あともう一個なんだろうな。
Do you know what was here?
これ違う。オカルト遺跡も違う。奇妙にも行方不明になった。おお、高級なワイン。 妖怪魔法陣。あ、そういうことか。 OK。
Do you know what was he?
違う行方不明。違うオカルト魔法陣。 OK。バンジョスケが購入する前、邸宅はオカルト信者の建築家によって所有されていた。建築家は忘れ去られた書物から学んだ強力な儀式を執り行うということにその人生を捧げたが、通常の魔法陣では儀式に不十分だった。そのため彼はこの邸宅を建てた。よく目を凝らせば、邸宅の形は魔法印と一致しており、壁には穴が開いていることがわかる。ある日、建築家は、何これ、姿を消した。床にはただ灰のシミが残っていただけだったという。彼は儀式に成功したのかもしれない。へ
That's what I
え。
like about this party. Bring me more dirt, Sherry. One more piece, and I can expose these base hedonists.
暴露って言ってもね。
Curtains do not guarantee privacy.
And you still need a crack despite being ethereal.
どうも。
My goodness, Sherlock. They made a blood fountain.
No, John, it's definitely not blood, just wine. Gahor, is it a guess?
他になんか会話してる人いないもんな。入れるんだ、ここ。なんかあるの？
Well-known and recent plays to keep up to date with the current trends. Well-known and recent plays to keep up to date with the current.
One of these books must open a secret
秘
passage.
密の通路を開く鍵になるに違いない。
Codex Orchis. Why does this occult book sound like a flower?
花の名前がついてんだ。
Romantic poetry and prose. Someone's in touch with their feelings. These medieval botany and chemistry books look even more satanic than the occult ones.
ついけない。取れない。なんかないの？
I need a rest from my insatiable wife.
Oh, hey, handsome. I see that look in your eyes.
Wanna go somewhere more private?
危ない集団だな、この人たち。
I guarantee we'll have a good time. ちょっと喋れない。
Manchios had to enforce the masks after the scandal.
身元が暴露された不祥事について探る。陽気の人間がいた。違う。賭けに負けた。違う。事件の後に解任された。あ、事件の後に解任された。事件の後に解任された。OK。まず一つ。
Manchios had to enforce.
一服。 腹事件の後。立腹事件の
Nancho's had
後。
to inform.
違った。人々は前回のパーティーで起こった事件について話していた。若い男性と一緒にいたカウデン副知事をプロイセン王国の公爵夫人である彼の婚約者が発見した。政略結婚ではあったが公爵夫人の愛は本物だった。この事件によりコルドナとプロイセン王国の間に政治的危機が勃発することとなった。多くの抗議活動があったわけではないが、知事は副知事を解任している。
I'll pin them down, Biscoop. Thank you, Sherlock.
ああ、まあ、ジョンの挑戦に勝ったのはいいやね。いや、勝ったはいいけど、どうすればいいんだ？上行けないもんね。入れないの？入れない。入れない。
Do not distract me. It's not easy to play blindfolded.
あ、すいません。てか目隠しで演奏せんでもよくない？うわ、なんか進んだ。
Sherlock, friend. I wasn't sure you'd come. Werner, I see you are not yourself. The more time you spend here in Cordona, the more I feel it my duty to bring you into our world and show you all we have to offer. And what is on offer today? Pleasure, indulgence, relief, and relaxation. You've earned some time for yourself, have you not? Those who know me would say I'm incapable of it. Nonsense. I refuse to believe there is anyone permitted to know Sherlock Holmes. Huh. You may be right. Then free yourself from inhibition and expectation. The night is young, and so are the guests. You should try to enjoy both. It's not healthy for handsome men to spend every night alone, and certainly not in a house filled with such melancholic memories.
I must admit, my travels have proven more taxing than expected. I'm less confident in my life and myself. Time of relaxation seems a distant dream.
So can I tempt you with a physical aid to your moral consolations? There's wine, of course, something to smoke, or perhaps an artificial paradise? Yes, something more spiritual, a potentiator to sharpen the mind. A 7% solution of, well, that'd be telling, but you must try it.
そんなものに興味はない。
My mind already operates at a far higher level than most. I struggle to believe anything could improve it. My ultimate duty is to provide the world with truth, and I do that perfectly well as is.
Duty? You've never cared about that before.
Of course I do. Exposing a lie, revealing a fact, that is a moral responsibility.
That's not morality. Morals are what happens afterwards when truth collides with consequence. Do you ever follow up on cases you solved? Do you ever see what happened next, visit the victims, ensure justice is served in the courts? And how do you choose where to direct your attention? Are there not deserving causes to which your brilliance could be applied but isn't?
You ascribe me more power than I possess. I have a narrow skill set and work within that mandate. What occurs afterward is irrelevant.
With every action or inaction, you place a finger on the scales of morality. Many in the city would see you as abdicating your responsibility.
I haven't.
Not me, of course. Morality is subjective, just like truth. There is little to be gained from indulging in it, and far better things to indulge in. Now I must insist on easing any burdens I've placed upon your shoulders. Show yourself a kindness, and try this rather delectable concoction.
もらおうか。
If this solution truly does assist with thinking, then perhaps it would be puerile to overlook an opportunity to study it. I'll take it with me.
Yes, Sherlock. Very good. And now, our evening begins in earnest. I just remembered. I'm sorry, Sherlock. My mind's delightfully impaired. Please take this key. It opens the altar room, past the library.
Pardon? Altar room? What now, Werner?
Go quickly and find our Fabio. Only you can make him talk. I'll join you in a minute.
ファビオ。祭壇室の鍵。ボーゲルは僕に鍵を渡し、祭壇室にいるファビオという人物と話すよう言ってきた。祭壇室行きますか。祭壇室ってどこ？
Look, I'm an outlaw.
ここ行けないじゃん。どうすればいいの？
Let me know if you need anything, sir.
祭壇室に行きたいんですけど。
Let me know if you need anything, sir.
ダメだ。祭壇室どうやって行くの？階段もう一つあったよね、確か。あれ？入れないや。祭壇室ってどこ？
Could you help me?
I can't help you with that, sir.
あ、扉あったっけ？祭壇室。あれ2階って言ってなかった？気のせい？
ミリさん、こんばんは。
はい、こんばんは。いらっしゃい。師匠いらっしゃい。師匠、片頭痛大丈夫？もう治った？あ、開いた。あれこれ外出ちゃうんじゃないの？違った。Kindle じゃん。
My God. Was he here this whole time?
ちょっと。 入れ墨で跡を隠
This
してる。
crude tattoo partially
no
covers a
yakin.
slave branding. This golden handle has a bloodstain on it.
血で汚れている。
The dagger is heavy and sharp, but lacks balance. This worm-like sigil has been drawn with his own blood.
おー。
The wound is deep. A precise strike reached the heart. A blunt-force trauma may have suffered an internal hemorrhage.
え、あともう一つ何？
The victim has clenched the fabric so firmly in his fist that it's nigh impossible to remove it. He died right here.
今日は朝から少し咳が出るだけで頭痛もないですよ。
あ、ほんとよかった。急に寒くなったから風邪ひかないように気をつけてね。着している。すでに死んでいる。ちょっと外そう。
The herbs here are Salvia divinorum. They have a slight hallucinogenic effect to emphasize the ceremony. This elaborate box must be for the ritual dagger.
ああ、ダガーのケースね。
The ointment smells mouse-like. I presume it is an aphrodisiac prepared from a Spanish fly.
ネズミの匂いって私わからないんだけ
The
ど。
ointment smells mouse-like. I presume it is an aphrodisiac prepared from a Spanish fly. The ointment
ああ、
smells
同じか。
mouse-like. I presume it is an aphrodisiac prepared from a Spanish fly.
これは
This one looks like a twisted symbol of Venus drawn in a hurry.
トイレ書かれたんだ。
The sign reminds me of the astrological symbol for Mars.
火星。犯人は被害者の血を使い、火星と金星の印を壁に書いた。こっちは何もないか？あ、ボーゲル。
Werner, care to explain what is going on?
皆さんに心
On
配
nights
か
like
けてし
these,
まっ
it's
て
not
申し訳
unusual
な
for
い
some
です。
attendees to get a little
いえいえ。
exuberant. It's part of the appeal. Unfortunately, it appears things have gotten out of hand. Yes, some are more
いつも
prone to
元
bend
気
the
な師
rules
匠
of
を見たいんで
morality.
ね。
That's murder. I doubt there's anything left to bend. Why did you not tell me immediately? We were chatting about trivial matters for some time.
If I'm completely honest, Sherlock, I've consumed a rather potent cocktail of substances. My attention slips and drifts. But I'm glad I thought to call for you.
You sent me a disguise.
Oh dear, did I? Well, since I found the body, Mr. Manchios has agreed that you can
ありがとう。
investigate the matter.
繰り返し。
I promise my mind will behave itself going forward.
All right. Pull yourself together, Werner.
今日のような夜とは？
What is it about these nights that you were so eager to share with me?
Well, they're not always in the evenings, but they are in the shadows. People gather to test their boundaries in a safe and consensual atmosphere, often with more stains than your typical crime scene. But that is the point. Who are we to judge?
I suppose that's fair. What about today, then? Was anything different?
Well, I was invited as a special guest. It was supposed to be a time of both divine and carnal pleasures. A scratch for every unconventional itch.
I imagine you're reeling from your shattered expectations.
On the contrary, there is still spectacle, stimulation, and release, merely in a different form. I like to let life entertain me.
Or death.
なんかこの人といると必ずなんか殺人事件が起きるんだけど。カートスとは誰だ？
Mr. Manchios is the owner of the manor, yes?
and the host of Cordona's most memorable parties. He promises even the ugliest guest a partner for the night. And for the ones with more unconventional tastes, Mr. Manchios provides other services.
What a caring person.
You cannot begin to imagine.
どうやって遺体を見つけた？
How did you discover the body? In between guzzles of alcohol?
I was set to perform in a fecundity rite with Fabio and came to inquire further. It was a staged ritual where he was to play the principle of life.
And the rehearsal was unsuccessful?
Huh, who knows? I found him alone on the altar, his blood dripping to the floor.
And then?
Then I called Mr. Manchios. He was panicking, so I told him about you. We left the room and locked the door. Then we were
Filling time?
waiting for you was stressful. We indulged in some simple comforts. Overindulged, perhaps.
被害者を知っていたか？
Were you well acquainted with Fabio, the victim?
Everyone knew Fabio, or wanted to. His beauty was the talk of the island. Too
まあ確か
handsome
にイケ
to
メン
go
だったわね。
unnoticed. He was magnetic. Fat wallets fought for the privilege of having him. He offered the pleasures of performance, and more.
儀式について。
What about the fertility ritual? There was something about Fabio being a
はい、こんにちは。いらっし
principle
ゃ
of
い。
life.
Fabio was supposed to portray the
Marta-san,
beauty of life's
irasshai.
origin. Flowers, oil. Not this travesty that seems straight out the Inquisition.
So this ritual is
So
not
zombie-
the fertility rite. What was
素
it
材
meant to look like?
集まっ
It
た。
begins with a woman lying naked in a flower bed on the altar. She represents Gaia, the earth. As I cover her in oils, we chant for the principle. As our calls reach a climax, Fabio enters and copulates with her. After he finishes, I stab her with a dagger. That part's just pretend, of course.
But the intercourse is not?
I did not expect you to be such a prude. Are you a virgin? It is nothing to be ashamed of, but it would explain the color of your
文
skin.
治さまだま
The
だ散策
fertility
しな
rite
ければで
marks the
す。
start of
わ
our
ら。
festivities.
あ、そうなんだ。
The principle of life
頑張って。
is beautiful, intimate, essential. It must not be stopped.
Yet it appears that someone did stop it.
ゾンビ、
What about the naked
直
woman?
すのも大変だ
Can
よ
you
ね。
tell me anything about her?
Oh, yes, Matista. She's one of Fabio's compatriots and a performer too. I haven't seen her today, actually.
部屋は開いていたのか？
When you discovered the body, was the door open?
No, it was locked. Oh, that reminds me. It's a minor detail, but the first time I came to speak to Fabio, I left without entering, having been unable to open the door.
You didn't have the key.
No, I had it. Don't look at me like that. I was mostly sober. I suspect there was a key in the other side of the door, blocking the lock.
That detail may very well be major, Werner. Well done. So you returned later only to find the lock was not blocked.
Correct. After an hour had passed, I tried again and was able to unlock the door. That's when I discovered poor, handsome Fabio.
警察は何も知らないのか？
The police remain unaware of this tragic event?
Some of them may be hiding behind their masks. They conceal many things. But we didn't want the authorities to create more problems. Besides, after a few cocktails, their incompetence will have soared to new heights.
How do you know I even want the case?
I promised you relaxation. If there's one thing I know about you, Sherlock, it's that nothing soothes you more than a good mystery.
何？ボーゲルは特別な客として招待された。ファビオと話すためにボーゲルが最初に部屋に入ろうとしたとき、扉には鍵がかかっていた。1時間後にボーゲルが再び扉を開けようとしたときには、中から鍵穴を塞いでいるものはなく、部屋に入ることができた。ボーゲルによれば、ファビオは金持ちの客を楽しませる演者だったという。マティスタはファビオの仲間の演奏で彼と共に働いていた。カート氏は邸宅の主人でパーティーの主催者だ。ファビオと共に儀式を執り行うために雇われた2人目の演者は彼の相棒であるマティスタだ。記憶の宮殿。 ファビオは儀式殺人の被害者だ。ファビオはオカルトの儀式の生贄にされてしまった。ほう。ちょっと部屋の中を調べる必要があるね。こういくか。
What about a quick pillow fight?
枕投げしちゃダメでしょ。
Enough cigars to burn down the entire mansion. An open wound spoiled the carpet. Why don't people tidy up after themselves?
これ無知か。あと1個これ
Blood. A sturdy bottle met a not so sturdy human. It didn't break only because it was unopened.
あ、この瓶で殴られたんだ。ここは招待客が隠れて快適にタバコを吸うための部屋だ。絨毯に血が落ちてきた跡がある。血で汚れたワインの瓶が床に落ちている。間違えた。大量の血
The
痕。
wounded person was here for some time.
血で汚れ
A
てい
bloody
る。
handprint on an armchair.
血がついた手
A
形。
person leaned against the doorframe. They left a smudged trail of blood. There appear to be no further traces leading to the altar.
血は何もない。ジョン、そんなとこ泳いじゃいけません。扉の枠に血の跡と手形が付着してるのに気づいた。で、どうすればいいんだろう。
You've got a lot to do, Sherlock.
どうすればいいんだ。衣装室。
Handcrafted and luxurious cufflinks. There's also a note. For my Fabio, Manchos. The capital
If-
F on the key fob might refer to Fabio. The key is similar to the one that Vogel gave me.
Would you recognize me in one of these? I suppose not.
This is a different ritual.
発見した何らかの儀式の筋書きの冒頭に文言が書かれていた。文言の内容は次の通り。この儀式を読んで練習しろ、マンチョス。母なるガイアの象徴である裸の女性が祭壇に敷かれた花の上に横たわる。儀式の進行者は儀式用の油で女性を塗り、女性の内なる豊穣を目覚めさせる。参加者たちはこの瞬間に栄唱し、母なるガイアを喜ばせる男を呼び出さなければならない。そして生命の摂理が具現化した現在である男は女性と契りを交わすのである。ほう。カートのメモ。マティスタ、お客様を無視するな。そして彼らを退屈させないように。彼らが興味があるのはお前のたわごとなのではなく、美しいお前が彼らにどれだけ奉仕できるかということだ。お前がここにいるのは命を賛美するためだ。忘れるな、お客様はお前と時間を過ごすために大金を払うのだ。カート。
How can anyone accept such behaviour?
A useful tool for a disguise arsenal.
で、これは
The pitcher is empty, but with puddles around it. Blood clots are adhered to the sides of the drain. Identical to the robes the guests are wearing. Props, decorations, and tools for a more detailed set.
だけかい？いや、なんかいっぱいあんぞ。で、ここに戻ると。
頭使う毎度のことながら、頭使うゲームですね。
そうなのよ、本当に嫌になっちゃう。マンチェステの祭壇の鍵。ちょっと待ってよ。ロケーションを探すだよな。で、どうすればいいんだ。
You've got a lot to do, Sherlock.
だからこんだけしか話してくれ。 どうすればいいんだろう。
I'm so excited about the event.
入り口だもん
Enjoy
な。
the event, sir.
入れない。この主人を探した方がいいんじゃないの？これさっき見たやつだしな。ここ通れないもんな、あなた。で、入れないの？入れないか。どこ行けばいいんだろう。上行けないしな。
You have such pretty hands. What
You should
can
sit
you
next to
do
me
with
and wait to
them?
be served.
Mm-hmm. 上行けないもんな。
Let me know if you need anything, sir.
まだ祭壇になんかあんのかな。祭壇どこあったっけ。ないなあ、何にも。
The sign reminds me of the astrological symbol for Mars.
Similar ここか、調べて
Similar
な
to
い
the
の。
guests' robes, apart from the bloodstains.
So, Sherry, do you have any ideas about the case?
Perhaps, perhaps. I think I can deduce what happened here.
マジで？ああ、もやもややりますか。 おー、どっちが鍵閉めたんだろう。この人にしといて。鈍器で殴られたんだよな。ここで殴られたわけじゃないよね。あー、ここで殴られたんだな。殴られて、そうだよな。この人が出てくるのなんで？こうしとかんと話が合わんよな。
You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
違う。
The bottle was used as a weapon during a scuffle in the smoking lounge. Then, to ensure no one would interrupt, the murderer locked the door. The unconscious body of the victim was moved to the altar room. Once the body was on the altar, the murderer thrust the dagger into the victim's heart. Symbols were drawn with the blood. The wardrobe was used to hide the bloodied robe from anyone's eyes. The killer washed himself and took a clean robe from the hanger before leaving.
Are you alright? You're on the floor, not moving.
I think I know what happened here.
記憶の起源。ファビオの儀式。ファビオは儀式殺人の被害者だ。ファビオはオカルトの儀式に生贄にされてしまった。儀式は本当の目的を隠すためだ。儀式が企てられたのは殺人の本当の動機を隠すためだ。こっちだとして、 犯人は自分自身を洗った。階段の鍵は一度閉められん。なんか来た。犯人は祭壇の鍵を持っていた。犯人は祭壇の鍵を所有していて、扉を閉めるのに使用した。犯人が鍵を持っていたのは明らかだ。誰が祭壇室の鍵を持っていたか分かれば容疑者を絞り込むことができるだろう。
I'm starting to put the pieces together.
Fabio was stabbed.
I see nothing gets past you, Werner. Yes, he was stabbed, but only after being knocked out in the next room and placed here. I do not yet know why.
So, who's responsible?
Well, it was one person working alone, and the murderer has now donned a robe. He or she could be hiding in plain sight. We have lost time, Werner, but your discretion may prove to be a benediction after all.
証拠を提示する。
The murderer had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar room?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests. He has a mask with golden stars. You can't miss him. But please be discreet. We don't want to risk disturbing the revelry.
ボーゲルは祭壇室の鍵を持っている人間を知らないようでカート氏に尋ねるよう提案してきた。カートマンチョスの見た目。カートマンチョスは祭壇室の鍵を持つ人間が誰か知ってるはずだ。ボーゲルはカートを広間で見たという。カートは金色の星の仮面をかぶっているが、遺体を発見したことで神経質になってるはずだ。よし、じゃあ広間行きますかね。星の仮面。仮面。いかがわしい声が聞こえるんだけど。星の仮面ってどれだ？これだ、もっとわからん。
Vogel's gallery has a backer, I see.
脱税している。仮面って熊払いに取りつかれてる。だもんな。この人かな。
Kurt Manchios, I presume. I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, you must be the one Verna told me about.
わかりにくいな。
What a sweet voice you have. It must belong to a handsome young man. Can I call you Sherlock?
As you wish, Mr. Manchios. Mr. Vogel asked me to help you. The body in the altar room requires answers, and quickly. I suspect the murderer to still be here.
What? Lower your voice. I don't want anyone to hear us.
Did you know Fabio well?
People are starting to look at us, Sherlock. Change the subject. I can't believe what happened to him. To me. Such an atrocity. Think what it means for me. A wonderful evening for so many good, influential, and rich people has been ruined. I have betrayed all my promises of exotic delights.
I don't understand. Surely a murder would affect your reputation to a greater extent.
Please, isn't this why you are here? I thought you were a silent
技
magician.
術師。
Do your tricks and make it go away.
祭壇室に入れる人物は
I need to find all those who had the key to the altar room. As far as I know, Mr. Vogel, Fabio, and you had access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Also, Matista and Santos.
Santos.
ギスト
Who
and
is that?
Santos。
Santos Pinchetti, my major domo. In his opinion, at least.
サントスとマティスタはどこ？
I'd like to speak to Mr. Pinchetti and Matista. Do you have somewhere I might have a private conversation with them?
Of course, of course. Let me think. Matista is entertaining the guests somewhere, and Santos... Oh, yes. He will be busy with the servants. Or the cook. What's that noise? What's going on?
何？
Praise, filth. You're under arrest.
「超蹴飛ばしとるけど」何このミュージック。逮捕されとるよ。
Committed a crime, and now I have to free you, kiss your hand, and apologize for the inconvenience. Your Grace.
I did tell you that Mr. Vogel and I were innocent. I emphasized it in my statement.
Your statement? The so-called good of the country by releasing fleas like you. Thank God we have Vogel in his letter.
塩ポンいらっ
Once
し
I
ゃ
get
い
to that goldfish, I'll...
Bigwig. Oh, my wretched brother Mycroft and his long nose.
Wait, did you say Mycroft?
ミリさんこんばん
Mycroft
は。
Holmes? Are you the
Konbanwa.
youngest son of Violet Holmes, rest her soul?
聞いてなかったな。母は知っていたと？
You knew my mother?
Not personally, no. Not exactly. I was working on the paperwork for that case.
Would you happen to remember anything of the events?
Well, I didn't make the
いきなり衝
inquiry,
撃的な
but
シ
I
ーンからだ
remember
っ
seeing
た。
some notes. Why?
そうだね。助けが必要だ。
You must help me. It would mean a great deal to me if you could find any information about that day.
Huh. Got you hooked, right? You know what? Stark and the others think they're the smartest here, thanks to you. Let me get this straight. Are you listening to me, lad?
I'm all ears.
Take this case. Report to me only, to Constable Harvey Oswald. I'll leave everything I have on this table. Find the murderer. Be a real copper. Question the suspects, make them sing, give me something substantial.
And if Mr. Vogel is not a suspect?
If he's innocent, then you can take your favourite degenerate away from here. If you slip or mess with the evidence, then trust me, your brother won't save you from my bludgeon. Meanwhile, I'll be checking the archive for you. If anybody asks, then you're a consulting detective.
Let's make a start then. Partner.
なんだ
I'm glad
急
we
に。
managed to get the scoop before the raid.
囚われたボーゲル。重要参考人の一人であるボーゲルが逮捕された。警察に捜査。警察のマンチョス邸への強制捜査の最中、僕は逮捕されてしまった。僕を釈放したのはオズワルド巡査だ。僕はこの事件の解決を助ける代わりに、彼は僕の母の死に関する文書を見つけてくれるという。僕は同意した。僕が捜査している間、オズワルド巡査は記録保管庫にいる。彼は事件に関するすべての証拠を机の上に置いてくれた。おう。記憶の宮
こん
殿。
にちは。
はい、こんにちは。いらっしゃい。サントスははい、ケンパチさんいらっしゃい。
皆さんこんにちは。
執事長であるサントスは邸宅のすべての部屋に自由に出入りすることができる。
お風呂行ってきます。また
おい、
ね。
いってらっしゃい。きれいに洗っておいで。風邪ひかないようにね。これ何だったっけ？
ケンパチさんこんにちは。ありがとうございます。
おーい。
さんいってらっしゃいませ。
事件記録62の60番。悪魔儀式の目撃者による遺体発見の通報を受け、マンション邸の強制捜査の許可が下った。これにより多数の容疑者を逮捕し、仮面とローブを身につけ、わいせつ行為や異常な行動をとっている集団を離散させることに成功した。祭壇の上で発見された遺体の胸にはナイフによる傷が確認された。警察官は被害者が20歳の地元の演者で芸術家であるファビオであると断定した。逮捕された容疑者は次の通り。ボーゲルは被害者によって書かれた中傷の手紙を所持していた。遺体を発見したのは自分だと主張している。容疑者はその風変わりな性格で悪名高い人物だ。 シャーロック・ホームズ、被害者の血が付着した凶器のダガーのほか、複数の証拠を携帯していた。ホームズが容疑者であるボーゲルに招待されたのは警察の捜査を妨害するためであると思われる。マンチョス。マンチョスは、邸宅の主人で悪魔的なパーティーの主催者である。被害者に報酬を支払い、儀式に参加させた。事件現場に入ることができた。マティスタ、ファビオの相棒として儀式に参加していた。逃走を試み、逮捕に抵抗した。祭壇室で執り行われた儀式が記録された本を所持していた。その他の客はさらなる聴取のため、一時的に交流中である。
Back on track to solve the case.
取調室の鍵。目撃者の供述調書。私サントス・ピンチェッティは、グランドサライ地区のマンチョス邸で発生したと思われる殺人事件を通報した目撃者である。社交会の準備中は、私は閉ざされた祭壇室から大きな物音を聞いた。私はカート・マンチョスが話していた。生物を生贄に捧げる行為を即座に思い出した。壁には血で奇妙な印が書かれ、ダガーが心臓に刺さっていたのだ。私は気を取り直してすぐ警察署に殺人事件を報告した。この供述に対して、署は警察官を派遣し、その間に目撃者は帰宅した。
もう一度お名前を。
サントス・ピンチェッティ？もう言えるもん。
娘が迎えに来てほしいそうなので行ってきます。
はい、行ってらっしゃい。気をつけてね。証拠チケット。このチケットの提供者には62から60番の事件の証拠をすべて調べる許可が与えられる。ほう。
言えたか？
言えるわー。5番および6番取調室の鍵を手に入れた。で、検察に密告したのはサント。サントスは容疑者だ。サントスは容疑者であり、逮捕して尋問するべきだ。彼が持っていた鍵について調書には何も書かれていない。ほう。で、容疑者サントス。サントスは祭壇室の鍵を持っており、事件現場に入ることができた。さらに遺体の第一発見者であるようだ。彼の容疑者として完璧だ。記録庫にいるオズワルド巡査に頼み、容疑者としてサントスを聴取しよう。なんかいろいろ話しないかん人おるな。サントス？こんだけ？
Look, I found Werner.
あっち？ 3 5この人誰？6あ、これ女の人だ。
I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald. You are Matista, Fabio's friend.
This body, yes, it's Matista. But it's a mere shell that will die someday. just like Fabio.
Please accept my condolences for your friend.
Thank you.
I'm just here to ask questions and find Fabio's murderer.
It will not bring Fabio back.
暗殺する。オカルトの入れ墨、自分で入れ墨をした。爪を噛んでいる。神経質。自分でつけた傷。古くほとんど見えない。足かせの傷。まだどっかある？これか。血が溜まった傷。最近つけられた。まだあるの？これか。焼きごてによってつけられた。やけどの傷？うわファビオの相棒であるマティスタは辛い人生を送ってきた。また、子供だった頃から彼女は奴隷として働いていた。同じ奴隷であるファビオと出会ったが、二人が似た印を持っているのはそのためだ。古い傷は思春期の奴隷生活の頃のものだ。奴隷時代の経験で負った心の傷は現在も彼女を苦しめている。神秘主義に傾倒している彼女はオカルトの印の入れ墨をしている。マティスタは過去の出来事を忘れようとしており、演者としての生活で金を稼ごうとしているのだ。これだとなんか変わる？長年による虐待でマティスタは自分の体に気を使わなくなったようだ。彼女は客に体を打って客の好きなようにさせている。彼女は一線を越えることにためらいはない。またマティスタは体に入れ墨を入れている。こっちだよな。
Fabio and yourself were slaves, am I correct? You have a similar branding on your body.
Yes. It was a long time ago.
Couldn't help but also notice fresh cuts upon your forearms.
The cuts helped me to forget my past, to cover the old wounds and hide them.
How did you escape?
Something happened. One night the master fell down the stairs. I made him fall, and he died. We ran away that day. We managed to get on a ship and traveled here, to Cordona. Fabio and I started a new life here. It was very hard at first, but it became better with time. Until today.
どこで怪我をした？
The bruises on your neck are not self-inflicted. Someone else made them.
Some guests can't contain themselves. They even bite, sometimes.
奴隷としての時間をファビオと共に過ごしていた。よいしょ。で、バティスタは最近怪我をした。バティスタはパーティーの最中に客から乱暴な行為を受け、体に傷を負った。違うわな。で
Good day, Mr. Manchios. I am Constable Oswald's partner in this investigation.
Be quick and gentle. Some of your colleagues are untrained boors. Although I don't mind meeting young officers, the new blood here.
If you cooperate in finding Fabio's murderer, there will be no need to meet with the boars again.
That voice. Werner's friend? You're the policeman. What a disappointment.
Only an undercover agent can scour a ditch full of deviants. I am a consulting detective, although I'm capable of replacing the entire department through my consultations.
Sharp-tongued, I like it. May I presume this tongue will get us out of this trouble? I would be so indebted and glad to repay you.
Nothing's changed. I'm looking for the murderer. That's the only way to get us out of trouble.
But it shouldn't take much time, correct? We're all busy after all.
I need to examine you first.
暗殺する。化粧をしている。へえ。ああ、染め子でね、なる人いるからね。爪の下の洗剤、急いで手を洗った。ほう。磨かれた質のいい革。非常に贅沢な靴。まあ、カートマンチョスは非常に裕福だが、風変わりで分別がない。彼はコルドナの上流階級の人間たちのためにパーティーを主催し、マンチョス邸を所有している。彼が時間を共に過ごすのは自分と同じく過剰な特権を持った人たちだった。だがカートはパーティーで自分の本当の年齢を若い参加者に隠そうとしている。彼は老いを気にするあまり、化粧や専門剤で自分を若く見せようとしている。潔癖症。だがその交際の仕方をしてきたことで、彼は自分の健康に気を使うようになった。彼は体を清潔に保つために薬と専門剤を過剰に使い、かえって肌を傷つけている。こっちのような気がするな。
You are a little over the top with your use of makeup, Mr. Manchios. Is it so difficult for you to acknowledge your age?
Well, Sherlock, that's easy for you to say to an old man when you look as though you are barely 15.
But still, it shouldn't be an issue for someone of your status.
For people of my age, it isn't an issue, no. But the younger ones can be so afraid of wrinkles and grey flecks. I have to adapt.
Such a methodical man who cares for his body but misses the soap under his fingernails. Are you so impatient, or perhaps even impulsive?
I wouldn't call myself that. Silly little details. If I missed it, it wasn't important. Or rather, it was less important than who or what I was focused on.
いや、どんな人物?
What was Fabio like? His personality, his habits? Anything you can tell me?
He was the brightest star of my parties. Young, magnetic, and full of energy. I don't even want to mention his beauty. Otherwise, I'll be sobbing.
An expensive champion, I imagine.
His performances were flawless. He deserved his payment. Do you think he was murdered because of money?
Possibly. What about the other guests? Were they used to opening their wallets as well?
I wouldn't restrict my guests from anything. I'm sure Fabio received a few coins from others for his services.
パーティーについて詳しく知りたい。
Mr. Vogel told me a little about your parties, but I would like to know more directly from you.
I'm all yours, Sherlock. You have me arrested and locked here with you alone.
なぜボーゲルを招待した?
Why did you invite Mr. Vogel as your special guest?
He's a pretty fellow. He's capable of surprising the public. He has a talent for saying words that no one else would wish to either say or hear.
I suppose I can't argue with that.
He is a free addition to the eccentricity of the party, which is fine by me, as long as it enhances my party.
誰を招待する?
I'd like to know who you usually invite to your parties.
Free minds who are able to leave reality for an evening, who can taste forbidden fruit without prejudice. There is nothing that quite spices up life like these parties. assuming one is old enough and has worked many years for the good of one's country.
Oh, all true laborers, I see.
証拠を提示する。
I've no idea about that. That's not something I know much about. 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 That's not something I know much about.
え
I've no idea about that.
Do you have any idea who tipped off the police to raid your mansion, Mr. Manchios?
Of course. It was you. I could even say you Sherlocked me in here.
A good guess, but the wrong one. The fellow who did that was Mr. Pinchetti, your major domo.
What? Santos? But how could he even know? If he's not the murderer himself. The ungrateful swine. He has dared to besmirch my reputation.
Not a very eloquent choice of words.
What should I call him then, since he's a snitch? Make him talk, Sherlock. I'm quite certain he knows more about the murder than he has told the police. You'd better ask someone else. 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 I've no idea about that. You'd better ask someone else.
You bought an expensive pair of cufflinks for Fabio. Were they his price? Or were they a tip for an exclusive show?
It was pure business. Fabio escorted me a few times. I was merely showing my gratitude.
This pair cost a small fortune. You must be extremely grateful then. Tell me more.
You've thrust a knife in an exposed nerve, Sherlock. Yes, he was my protege and my beacon also. With my experience and his beauty, we could have achieved anything. I had faith in him. I would have made him.
おう。ファビオに高価な贈り物をしている。カードをカウスボタンを送ったのはファビオに対する感謝の気持ちの表れだという。容疑者サントス。証拠チケット。ボーゲル。おう。サントス。キロッコにいるオズワルド巡査に頼み容疑者としてサントスを聴取しよう。あ、記憶の宮殿。カートは道楽のために準備をしている。カートマンチョスは堕落した趣味のために注意深く準備をしている。カートはファビオを愛していた。表面で清潔だ。カートは道楽のために準備をしているでしょ。カートは殺人の後で自らを洗った。どっちだろう。 ビを殺害した後、俺こっち行くとサントスの容疑者じゃなくなっちゃうんだよな。とりあえずこっちでいいか。入れるんかい。ここじゃないんだよな。ここは入れない。
Werner, are you all right?
Oh, yes, yes. Everything's fine. In fact, it's something of a family reunion. My brother spent quite some time in this place himself.
You should not be here. I told the police everything I knew, but they refused to let you go. They require proof to free you.
Ha! What did you expect? The mighty Sherlock Holmes swans in, tells the officers what to think, and the world obeys?
Of course not. Anyway, I struck a deal with the constable, and I've got a free hand in the investigation. I find proof to solve the case for him. He obtains files about my mother's death for me.
Well done. If one has the power or will,
ミリさん
and
今
can
日は
act,
この
then
辺で
one
また
must.
ね。
I wonder,
はい、お疲れ
suppose you
様。あ
couldn't
り
get
がと
proof
ね
to。your truth. Would you tell a lie to the guard that enabled my freedom, knowing my innocence? Would that not be just?
There are lines I will not cross, Werner. I will do my best to secure your release, but with proof, not deception.
Really? How many white lies have you told on this island? Why not for me? Why not another?
That is absurd. I can resolve this without compromises. Do not give up hope.
I can't follow you here. I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I can't follow you here. I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I can't follow you here. I can't follow you here. I can't follow you here.
I have learned who told the police about the crime. It was Santos Pinchetti,
Do I know him?
the major domo of the manor. He cleans up after you.
Well, then he does his job perfectly. All but invisible. I couldn't tell you the first thing about him.
サントス知らない。証拠チケットと容疑者サントスです。サントスはどこにいるだ？ないな。
I've nothing to say about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I've nothing to say about this. I've nothing to say about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. You'd better ask me a question I know how to answer.
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene, could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here. They brought him in, Mr. Holmes. Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
7番。サントスは逮捕され、現在は押収された所持品とともに7番取り調べ室にいる。よし。7番。
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds.
観察する。感染または過敏症。ほう。何度も修繕されている。ほう。何度も染色されている。血が飛び跳ねた後、血を踏んだ。サントス・ピンチェッティはマンチョス邸の執事長だ。執事長という邸宅でも一番高い地位にいるにもかかわらず、貧しい暮らしをしているようだ。十分な金もらっているが、サントスはそれをほとんど使おうとしない。安物の化粧品で体の傷を隠している。サントスはおしゃれのために何度かスーツを染色している。金をさらに節約するため、この執事長はスーツに開いた穴を自分で修繕しているようだ。体には、何だったっけ、症状が見られ、厚化粧で傷ついた肌を隠そうとしている。執事長のスーツには多くの穴が開き、つやだらけとなっている。染料を使ってスーツの見た目を改善しようとした。こっちだよな。
You are the major domo of a rich mansion, and you seem barely able to afford decent clothing. You hide, under heavy makeup, a skin disease that might be treated with more onerous but less harmful means. Do you have money troubles?
Do not have a lot of means. The pay is below what you might expect.
But you could easily change your job if your employer does not meet your elementary needs.
One can change his employer, that is true.
And the blood on your shoe, where does that come from?
I don't actually know. Perhaps from a guest?
被害者を知っていたか？
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always Fabio-centric.
And Matista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker. She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose.
執事長でもあるにかかわらず貧しい暮らしをしているようだ。で ええ、なんかカートが怪しくなってきたな。リッサを傷つけたのはファビオだ。逆に傷つけられた。サントスは誤って血を踏んでしまった。事件現場を発見したサントスは血を踏んでしまった可能性がある。これ関係なさそうだな。サントスは血しぶきを見逃した。サントスがファビオを殺害して自分自身を洗ったとき、彼は靴につった血の汚れを見逃した。血を踏んでしまった可能性がある。難しいな。カートマンチョスの遺言状とメモ。遺言状に添えられたメモの内容は次の通りだ。怠け者のサントス。貴様が遺言に参加したいと懇願してきたから入れてやったぞ。これが私の新しい遺言だ、カート。メモの下に書かれた遺言の内容は次の通り。マンチョステの執事長であるサントス・ピンチェッティには口ひげ用のワックスの瓶と塩のランプが与えられる。雇用主の気遣いを忘れるなかれ。カートマンチョス。はぁ、どういうこと？
I recognize the key from the altar room among these.
おい。から60の事件の証拠をすべて調べる許可が与えられる。あれどれだったっけ？ ティスタ、マンチョス、ホームズ、ボーゲル。やべえな、これ難しいぞ。
Mr. Manchios says that you begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a major domo?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle. And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love. Cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a major domo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why do you think your uncle treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers. While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties, he paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with expensive gifts for their disgusting relationship.
サントスはカートの遺産を相続することを望んでいる。サントスは、叔父のカートが自分の奉仕に感謝しないと考えている。これが何が？サントス、カートはサントスを侮辱していった。サントスの努力は報われない。サントスは遺産を手に入れるため必死にカートのために働いていた。しかしその努力は報われていない。こっちだとしたらわからんな。これが外れたでしょ。もう一回カートのとこ行っていこうか。
That's not something I know much about.
I've read the letter about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him I shouldn't have to provide for him. He's a grown man who shouldn't sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your major domo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him. I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
Please let me out.
お願いです。出してくださいしか言わんな。見れんもんな。
I know you can untangle this mess.
I know I can handle the news.
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
わかりまする。あ、立ち入り禁止ですって言われちゃった。
What a bunch of losers.
なんだ間違えた。
The air here is rather refreshing. I'd even recommend that some of my friends visit the place.
Please let me out.
はいです。出してくださいしか言わんな。
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
I know I can handle the news.
証拠室。証拠室ってどこだね。証拠室、証拠室。違うな。
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
証拠室ってどこ？これ取り調べ室でしょ。証拠室がわからないんだけど。
You've got a lot to do, Sherlock.
どこだろう。
62どれだったっけ？
Please let me out.
わかんねえ。
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
ですよね。
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
I know I can handle the news.
何かが違うんだよな。
The air here is rather refreshing.
ダメだ。
I'd even recommend that some of my friends visit the place.
なんだろう。難しい。
取調室エリアの外はいけないのかな？
調べ室の外？
Here, Basilio Bello is in jail. A dead body was found in his shoulder.
いけた。ありがとう。コペロ施設で、コペロ設備で起きた事件の状況について。何コペロ設備って。無関係な話題を無視。復讐。妻を打ちひがれてる。無罪を主張している。罪。
Did you hear, Basilio?
なんか違う事件来た？金庫での死、有名な防犯用品会社コペロ設備の経営者バジリオ・コペロが逮捕されたという話に興味に惹かれた。彼の置かれた状況は非常に奇妙で、バジリオ氏の店の金庫の中でニコロ・デッティという男性の遺体が発見されたというものだ。バジリオ氏は無罪を主張しているが、証拠は彼にとって不利だ。彼は警察署内の留置所に拘束されている。
In the police. Let's pretend to be cops, eh? We can just stand around and look confused.
違う事件言っちゃったね。どうしようかな。
違うの発生した。わら。
違うの発生しちゃった。
Don't look at them. They'll serve us if necessary.
なんだろうな。
This area is restricted.
May I ask you something?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer. I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
警察行くと証拠資料室みたいのあるよね。この時代にあるのかどうか。
資料室か。違うんだよな。ジョン怒っちゃったよ。これの証拠。あるのかな。
難しい。
難しい。
証拠チケットをどう使うのか。
そうそうそう。サントスを容疑者とすると、
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
Please let me out.
これしか言ってくんないの
？Please let me out.
なんか喋ってくれんかな。
Please let me out. Please let me out.
誰だ、これしか言ってくれんな。
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
チケット使って調べたり、検査できるとこないんかな、わからん。
ないんだよね。
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
I know I can handle the news.
Please let me out.
だろうな。
Please let me out.
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party. I can't wrap my head around.
ダメだな。
Such a tragedy at my party. I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
違った。あれ、違う。事件の証拠でしょ。全員の話聞いたもんな。
全員所持品だぜ。
ほんとだよ。サントスじゃない方にすると、
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
Please let me out.
What a bunch of losers.
お前はそれしか言えん
The
のか？
air here is rather refreshing. I'd even recommend that some of my friends visit the place.
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
どうすればいいんだろう。なんか話聞けないの、あなた。
Don't look at them. They'll serve us if necessary.
難しいなぁ。一つでしょ。すべての証拠を収集したってなるのな。一回満女性行くか。あれ、どっから出るんだっけ？あれ、どこだったっけ？こっちか。遠いな。すぐじゃん。あ、入れない。なんてこった。入れなくなっちゃった。入らせてよ。ダメか。
なんてこった。
なんてこった。これ小さなハムレットでしょ。
Any progress with the case, Mr.
警
Holmes?
察署内っぽいよね。
Any progress with the case, Mr. Holmes?
ダメだ。多分証拠っていうのが人物だと思うんだ。でも人物も喋れんもんな。
Good day. Your ticket, please, if you want me to help you.
ここでいいのか。どれだったっけ、チケット。
I'd like to check the evidence from this case.
And who are you?
Oswald sent me. I'm a consulting detective.
His partner, then?
ここだ。
Let me see. Ah,
あんなにいっ
ritual
ぱい
murder.
ぐるぐるした
A
のに。
bunch of degenerates. Wait a second. I'll bring it to the table.
All the keys of the mansion on one golden ring.
手紙がなんとかって書いてたもんね。
It's a miracle this ruby hasn't tempted anyone. A heavily perfumed handkerchief with the initials KM in the corner. A handcrafted charm that contains hair and nail clippings. Her key to the altar room. That's not for bedtime reading. This ex libris belongs to Manchios Library.
愛の力、血とマンドレイク。警察による逮捕の最中、マティスタのカバンからオカルトの本が発見された。蔵書表によれば、この本はカート氏が所有する蔵書の一冊だ。本には事件現場にいた儀式の絵と文章による解読が記されている。近日中に他界した大切な人間を裸体にせよと。火星と金星の紋章を書くことで、汝の力を増長させ、男、そして女の本質の力を使え、男の心臓を金色のダガーで貫き、汝を愛さない血を取り除け。汝の愛を示す紋章をかけ、蘇生を待つ間、魅惑の呪文を暗唱せよ。
The book describes a ritual similar to the one performed in the altar room.
怖いな。あ、にゃーいらっしゃい。何秒間の手紙。ボーゲルの証拠箱の中にあった手紙。気は確かなのか？あなたは自分の憎しみを制御できてない。少なくとも僕の周りでね。僕にはお見通しさ。僕は僕が決めた人と一緒に過ごし、会話をし遊ぶんだ。僕はマティスタじゃない。金をもらっているが、あなたは僕の飼い主じゃない。もちろん、あなたからの寛大な援助は返さないよ。いくら受け取っても、あなたの感情の爆発にさらされる足にはならないけどね。僕とあなたの関係はもう終わりだ。マティスタはまだいるだろうけどね。ファビオより。
Not the time for privacy.
関係が悪化しとるな。
An emergency kit.
退屈を治療するよ。
Werner's personal sketchbook. Thank you, officer.
ファビオからの手紙。ファビオからの手紙がなんでボーゲルの証拠箱にあったんだ？ファビオからの怒りの手紙。手紙のせい。 あれ違うね。愛の力マテスタ。違うな。なんか来た。手紙はカートに宛てたものかもしれない。サントスの証言と手紙の内容から考えて手紙はカートマンチョスに宛てたものかもしれない。だと思うよ。ボーゲルのポケットにあったこの手紙はカートマンチョスに宛てたものかもしれない。サントスの話ではカートはファビオに高価な贈り物を送っているそうだ。手紙でファビオはある人物の性格が原因で贈り物を返さないと言っている。ファビオはこの怒りの手紙をカートに当てて書いたようだ。カートはファビオに高価なものを送っている。で、ファビオはある人物の性格が原因で贈り物を返さないと言っている。ちょっと先にちょっとあれこっちだっけ？こう提示する。
This book, The Power of Love, Blood and Mandrake, what do you hope to achieve?
To learn more about the invisible strengths that govern us. Occultism is real. The master who fell that night when Fabio and I escaped. I made him fall. I cast a spell on him and it worked.
Or was it a coincidence?
The universe is rarely so lazy.
If you say so. Could Fabio have written this letter to Kurt Manchos?
Oh. That could be. I never thought Mr. Manchos could make Fabio that angry, though.
What do you mean?
Well, Fabio wanted to disassociate from Mr. Manchos. Clients who are in love are both a blessing and a curse.
But Fabio was here tonight.
Money. In our line of work, we can't afford to turn down clients who pay as well as Kurt Manchos.
Was Fabio afraid of Mr. Manchos?
Not at all. The old toad wouldn't dare to do more than sweet talk and touching. Talk can be forgotten, and touching washed away.
あなたはオカルトを信仰している。
Do you practice occult rituals?
For protection? For fortune? To wash away the ugliness of the world? Sometimes to survive. I have the gift, and I'm learning to use it better.
Did you use your gift on Fabio?
I only used white magic. Love charms lately. Fabio became so distant. I just wanted him to be with me, but I suppose I'm not as skilled as I thought.
かわいい呪文だね。マティスタが持っていたオカルトの本には事件現場にいた儀式が記されていた。ファビオを取り戻すため白魔術を使ったと言っている。マティスタは手紙がカートに宛てたものであるという意見に同意した。ファビオはカートと全ての縁を切りたがっていたが、経済的な理由から実行に移すことができなかった。
I know I can handle the news.
そうだよね。終わりだよね。
I know I can handle the news.
証拠を提示。
There is undeniable evidence that you were the original recipient of this letter.
What are you talking about? Is it addressed to me?
Your protege wanted a fresh start, it seems. This is sufficient to charge you.
Me? Hurt my star? Are you insane that you would accuse me of such a thing?
He did not consider himself as yours. Since you deny everything, let's move on. Do you have any idea as to how the letter could have ended up in Mr. Vogel's pocket?
You were the detective. Perhaps he took it from Fabio. Werner was a little high.
Do you recognize this book? Could Matista have borrowed it from your library?
She didn't ask me. How ungrateful.
The things described in the book were inspiration for the rituals you perform?
Do you really believe that blood, symbols, and incantations can resurrect the dead? They are just eerie tales with a mix of occultism and voodoo. My rituals are a stage to show some of the forbidden pleasures.
カートの反応から彼はマティッサに本を貸す許可を与えていないことがわかる。おう。ボーゲル
I'm not supposed to know anything about this.
ですよね。
I have reason to believe that the intended recipient of the incriminating letter may have been Kurt Manchos.
Well, that makes sense. Too bad I can't remember how I came to possess it. Though I did spend quite some time with Mr. Manchios during the party.
Unfortunately, even with an answer, that may still not be enough to clear you with the police. But fear not, I will persevere.
I hope your attempt to put things straight will make up for...
You being on a bender?
Touché.
ファビオから怒りの手紙を受け取ったのは彼かもしれない。ボーゲルかカートのどちらかが嘘をついている。カートはボーゲルが手紙を取ったと主張するが、ボーゲルはそのことをした覚えがないという。オカルトを信仰したマティスタはその力でファビオを自分のものにしようとしていた。愛の力来た。マティスタはファビオに儀式を施したのかもしれない。マティスタはファビオに儀式を施し、彼の愛を取り戻そうとしたのかもしれない。あー、なるほどね。ファビオは縁を切ろうとしていた。ファビオはカートの気持ちを踏みにじった。で、ここか。ボーゲルは酩酊状態で手紙を取った。ファーナーは複数の薬物で酩酊状態になっている時に手紙を自分で手に取った。カートが手紙をポケットに入れた。おっと、来た。犯人はカート・マンチョスだ。長年にわたってファビオはカートの心を持って遊び、カートの愛情を利用してきた。再び拒絶されたカートはファビオを殺害し、疑いをそらすために愛の儀式を企てた。地上のもつれか性犯罪者。打ちひしがれて動揺していたカートにファビオを殺す気はなかった。儀式を加えたのは必死で痕跡を隠そうとしていたからだ。彼の愛が死んでしまった今、彼には懲役刑を与えるだけで十分だろう。カートは非常にもファビオを殺害した。彼が儀式を企てたマンティスタに罪を着せるためだ。彼は疑いを晴らすためボーゲルのポケットに手紙を入れた。他人の命を 何とも考えていないカートは公主権にするにふさわしい。どっちだろう。まあ、公主権になってもらいましょう。
そうしましょう。
こっちじゃないわ。ねえ、そうしましょう。
The murder of Fabio did not have a ritual purpose, Mr. Manchios. It was staged by a man who wished to distract the investigation.
That might be true. That poor girl Matista wouldn't dare to kill the only man who cared for her. So, Santos.
Mr. Pinchetti snatched at the chance to solve his problems.
Ungrateful little scum. Will he be executed?
But what for? He informed the police as to the crime, that was all. He couldn't stage the ritual, but he found the body, I believe.
I can't believe it. Why did Werner do it?
Mr. Vogel. He had no reason, and he won't be a scapegoat as you plan. You put Fabio's letter in his pocket when he was intoxicated, didn't you?
You can't be serious.
We can very often deduce someone's life by their shoes or their fingernails. You are a meticulous person, but this murder was fairly traumatic and filthy. After you stabbed Fabio, you were covered in blood. You panicked and neglected to rinse the soap from under your fingernails. The devil is in the details, Mr. Manchios.
Nonsense. I missed it simply because of the busy schedule of the party.
Of course, a staged murder was certainly not planned. You're at the twilight of your life. You have no partner, you have no children. You had feelings, however, for one man. That was Fabio. You loved him. That is, you wished to own him with money and gifts. But he was also a free mind, was he not? He turned his back on you. Quite unjust. Love, so cruel and painful. And Fabio, with his words and deeds, made you feel the more wretched. So you killed him.
You must surely perceive that my sensitive nature wouldn't allow me to hurt anyone.
儀式を加えたなあなただ。
You staged the murder as a satanic ritual. It was easy for you since you were the one who wrote the scenarios for the parties. It was your way of avoiding suspicion. A respectable man in his 60s,
Early 60s.
who hosts the cream of Cordona's society, cannot possibly be a murderer. But the guests who behave like animals in his mansion, of course, one of them could have killed Fabio.
I did oversee a few of the rituals, but I did not stage Fabio's death.
Fabio played with your feelings. That was painful to realize. You spent so much time and effort to be with Fabio, but he didn't respond in the way that you would have liked. You wanted to be loved, but Fabio shattered your dreams. In the smoking lounge, he teased and mocked you. He wanted you to suffer by offering himself to others. The deception was unbearable. You were passionate, and so you struck him. Once you understood your mistake, it was too late. You were afraid, so you staged the ritual. With such a story, you might be sentenced to a few years. It might clean your conscience, and soon the case will be forgotten.
No. No.
This is my decision. I'll talk to Constable Oswald to see what I can do.
おう。オズワルド巡査に僕の発見を伝えよう。彼も僕に何か教えてくれるはずだ。 地上のもつれスか。オズワルド。
There's no fool like an old fool. Kurt Manchios did it. A young boy played with the heart of an old man. The latter couldn't handle it. The evidence I obtained clearly shows that the quarrel was not intended to end badly. It was an accident.
Showing pity towards your own kind, Holmes. Whatever.
All I'm saying is that prison won't take much away from an old and crushed man.
Fine. A big name like that will still give me a promotion. As for my part, not everything was in place. Perhaps some documents were transferred somewhere else, but I couldn't find a trace of them. Then I remembered. The discarded document drawers where we put the lost papers or the badly labelled ones. Including the crime scene report of Violet Holmes's case. Everything I've found is on the desk here. Take it.
Your persistence has saved me.
Yeah, well, we had a deal after all. Your friend is free then. You can leave.
Good luck, Constable.
おー、事件を解決した。オズワルドが母さんの死に関する捜査資料の写しを見つけた。彼は資料を警察の記録庫の上に残してくれた。これか。到着した捜査官によってストーンウッド邸の庭の遺体はバイオレット・ホームズ夫人であると確認された。被害者の体は全体が水で濡れており、喉には5センチほどにわたる縦型の深い石灰の跡が確認できた。被害者の顔は腫れ上がり、赤い斑点に覆われていた。死因は低酸素症であると考えられる。監察医の確認待ち。第一容疑者のオットー・リヒターを現場で逮捕した。遺体は検視のために移送された。
Garden.
庭だ。屋敷の裏手には庭があった。なぜ覚えてなかったんだ。
Where it all went wrong.
Sherry, it looks like you've almost found what you wanted.
記憶の断片。過去の記憶の断片がまた蘇ってきた。咲き誇る木にきらめく池。快適なガゼボに関する記憶だ。どうやら屋敷の裏に大きな穴があり、1階にあるその入り口は2つの窓に挟まれているようだ。母さんは溺死した。喉の傷は犯人によって今回はここで終わりですな。とりあえず、捧げられた子羊は終わったので、長かったな、途中いろいろ探しまくっちゃったけど。次はとりあえずこれやって、また新しいストーリーが出てくるのかな。
お疲れ様ですね。わら。
お疲れ様でしたわ。はい。では、今回はここで終わります。チャンネル登録、高評価、よろしければお願いします。また近いうちにやりたいですね。よし。 それじゃ、またね。バイバイ。